On a cold December morning, a shocking act of violence sent ripples across the corporate and healthcare world. The state perpetrator is now considered to be a hero. Let's find out how or why. Hi, welcome back. I'm Fatima, and before I move on, I would please love to ask you to subscribe. And okay, let's head on and start with today's story. On 4th of December 2024, a man was said to have a meeting early in the morning, so he left his hotel and went on to cross over to the hotel that was opposite the one he was staying, which is the Hilton Midtown in New York. As he was standing outside the hotel, just out of nowhere at approximately 6:44 a.m., someone approached him from behind and shot at him multiple times, hitting the man on his back and his skull. He slumped immediately and fell to the ground, and just as it happened, the said perpetrator fled from the scene. And unfortunately, the man that got shot was known as Mr. Brian Thompson. Brian Robert Thompson was born in Ames, Iowa on 10th of July 1974. He was a father of two, an American businessman and a seasoned leader in the healthcare industry. He was the Chief Finance Officer for UnitedHealthcare's Medicare and Retirement business. He went on to become the CEO of UnitedHealthcare in April of 2021. Thompson was known for his dedication to expanding healthcare access and innovation. He went on to lead the organization through challenging times, including the COVID-19 pandemic. Beyond his corporate achievements, Thompson was described as a family man, a compassionate leader, and a philanthropist. His death shocked the entire healthcare community, leaving behind only his legacy of innovation and a grieving family. Now with Mr. Thompson dead, the NYPD began to investigate, collecting bits of evidences from the crime scene, CCTV footage, and around town. At the crime scene, there were blood casings that were found that had deny, depose, and defend written on them, which were obviously taken in as part of evidence. And on the CCTV footage, it showed a hooded person who had aimed and shot multiple times at Mr. Thompson before fleeing the scene. So now with all of these at hand, the police decided to look at a broader perspective to find out who this suspect is and the possible timeline for what could have happened prior to the shooting. So now we have a timeline here, and I'm going to go through it, reading the timeline, and I'll have it on the screen while I move on. November 24th, 2024, the suspect boarded a Greyhound bus from Atlanta to New York. At around 10:11 p.m., he was seen at the Port Authority train station. He then went on to go to the High New York City hostel at around 11 p.m. where he checked in. He had his mask on for most of the time and didn't take it off up until when the hostel receptionist asked to see his smile as he was flirting with her. That was when this image was taken from the CCTV, the one that he had his mask pulled down and was smiling. So that was where and how the image got out. On November 29th, the suspect checks out of the hostel, and then on November 30th, he then checks back in with a New Jersey ID. He got a room where he shared with two other guys on the 4th floor. On December 4th, at approximately 5:30 a.m., the suspect was seen leaving the upper west side of the hostel, carrying what seemed to be a battery for an e-bike. At 6:15 a.m., the suspect was seen exiting the 57th Street F train station. He was then spotted at a nearby Starbucks at 6:17 a.m., where he had bought 2 protein bars and a bottle of water. At 6:39 a.m., the suspect then heads to Hilton Midtown in New York. And at 6:44 a.m., that was when the victim, Brian Thompson, was shot fatally to death. And that was when the shooter flee from the scene. So basically, he flee from the scene when he made his way to an alleyway, and at approximately 6:48 a.m., he was already at Central Park on his bike. So a nationwide manhunt was launched, and exactly 5 days after the shooting, on November 9, 2024, the said suspect was arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania, where he was found at a McDonald's while he was having hash browns, basically eating from behind his mask. So when the rookie officer approached him, he was asked to pull down his mask, and they were asking him questions as to what his whereabouts and everything And at that point in time, the officer that was in charge of the arrest said that he immediately recognized the person, even without them pulling the mask. What gave it all away was the fact that they asked him this one question: have you been to New York recently? And his demeanor changed immediately. He kind of started shaking, and they knew that was the person. This is their guy. So he was immediately arrested, and in his possession they found a backpack, and within the backpack were items as follows. So there was a 3D printed gun in the back, a 3D printed silencer, a spiral notebook that contained a handwritten document that had 3 pages worth of notes and 262 words. This was later on confirmed as the manifesto. So the suspect they have in hand is a person named Luigi. No, I don't mean this Luigi, not this guy. So basically, his name is Luigi Mangione, and he was born in Tucson, Maryland on May 6th, 1998. His parents were Kathleen and Louise Mangione, who came from a prominent family in Maryland, a very affluent family in Maryland. They were known for their estate, philanthropy, and healthcare services. He went on to attend Gilman School, which was an all-boys private secondary school in Baltimore. There he graduated as a valedictorian in 2016. He went on to study a dual degree in Bachelor's of Science in Computer Engineering and Master's of Science in Engineering in Computer and Information Science. There he graduated from University of Pennsylvania, cum laude, in 2020. So he went on to work as a data engineer for Truca in November of 2020 up until 2023 when his employment came to an end. So he moved to Hawaii, Honolulu. There in Honolulu, he worked as a surfer. So in November of 2024, Luigi's mother went on to report him missing, as she hasn't heard from him since July of 2024. This was apparently at the same time he had stopped posting on social media, and unbeknownst to his mother, he had already left his job in San Francisco and had moved to Honolulu in Hawaii. So when she made the report, she did that in San Francisco. So this is worth mentioning. So back in July of 2023, Luigi had a spinal fusion surgery, which due to the fact that he suffered from spondylolisthesis, and this had left him a bit disturbed and incapacitated, as he wasn't able to enjoy intimate relations after the surgery, and this was according to his friend in Honolulu, Hawaii. So now, after his arrest, he was arraigned at a court in Blair County, Pennsylvania, where he was facing charges of illegal possession of weapon, forgery, and possession of instrument of crime. And later that day, he was also charged in Manhattan, New York, for different counts of charges, which included first-degree murder, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and including terrorism charges against Mr. Brian Thompson for shooting brazen and premeditation. On December 13, 2024, Luigi Mangione went on to hire Karen Friedman Agnipilo as his New York defense attorney. As of December 19, 2024, he was scheduled for a hearing in Pennsylvania for the charges against the possession of weapons and then his extradition. As at the time of this recording, Luigi Mangione had already been extradited to New York, and he's currently in custody of the NYPD, as he had waived his extradition under court sitting on December 19, 2024. And it was later on mentioned that he is facing 4 federal charges against him, and it is very much likely that his case is going to start with the federal charges and then down to the state charges and then the lower charges that were placed upon him in Altoona for the illegal possession of weapon and the forgery and so on. So now for the juicy part of this story is questions. There are so many questions out there, and I'm going to talk about a couple of them, and I'm going to address them here. So in all of these things, why are people calling him a hero? So basically, people consider Luigi Mangione a national hero right now, and this is due to the fact that a lot of people kind of have shared interest when it comes to their perception towards the healthcare industry and finances, and they feel the damages that had been done on people over the years had been buried or swept away somewhere, and it only took one person, which is Luigi Mangione, to come out, step up and do something about it by shooting the CEO of UnitedHealthcare, Mr. Brian Thompson. So this is something that a lot of people find it to be intriguing, and they are kind of happy for the fact that that had happened, because there isn't a way that you would come across a person that hasn't at least come in contact with a person that hasn't lost at least one person or had been the same person that had an issue with UnitedHealthcare or the healthcare finances in general. So this is something that they held close to their hearts, and people are really upset over the fact that these policies are hindering people from getting treatments done on them. Are other CEOs safe? Well, not really. At least even if they are, they wouldn't feel safe at this juncture. And not just in the healthcare industry. Other CEOs in the corporate world are now unsafe. They feel unsafe. They don't feel safe because if not anything, they're going to have a higher budget in security at this point in time. None of the CEOs would, or any top management would want to go out there alone without a team of security around them anymore. So yeah, the issue of them being safe at the moment, they don't feel safe. I don't think they would feel safe being out there anymore. And this has to do with a recent spark of images that have been going around on social media. Different posters of CEOs even having their names written on it with the wanted tag and so on. Like literally, it's kind of like sending a message that you are next. So I don't think whoever like is on that poster would ever feel safe. So the next question is there anything that we can learn from his manifesto? Well, yeah, there are a couple of things that can be learned from his manifesto, from like the to-do list that was written in the manifesto, and how he came to create his weapon, and how he designed and executed his plan. There isn't a timeline of how long it took him to do all of these things, but there is a written transcription of what could have possibly happened. So I'm not going to like go deep into details as to like try to dissect what is written on the manifesto. Did he want to get caught? Well, in this case, I think it's of perspective, and I'm going to talk from two different perspectives, the criminology aspect and the psychology aspect. So when it comes to the criminology aspect, I would say that criminology always work with what is called the mentoria, like really like the intent of crime, and actus reus, like the actual harm that the crime had caused. So in this case, I think Mangione, like in the criminal aspect, I don't think he wanted to get caught. Like no one would commit a crime and willingly accept the fact that I want to get caught. And the fact that he had kept the murder weapon with him criminally states that he is ready to kill again. If not like within that time frame, he would have killed again if he had the chance to. So yes, I don't think he would want to like get caught. And when it comes to the psychological aspect, there is something about when a person had planned and executed a plan according to themselves, like a perfect plan being executed. There's this ego that comes with it, and for some people, like for example Mangione, he wouldn't mind getting caught since he had executed what he wanted to, and the fact that he carried his gun with him is because he is proud of his making and what he had used it for. So I don't think psychologically it is expected of him to throw away the instrument of crime, if that makes any kind of sense, because he built it and he used it and he got what he wanted. So this is more like a treasure to him. So he would rather not throw it away, and even if he is going to get caught, he would love to be caught with the murder weapon with him. So yeah, on the psychological aspect, it is possible that he wanted to get caught because he had enough time to like bolt out of the country even before his identity is known, but he chose to stay back. And looking at the image from McDonald's, it shows that at some point in time he might have gotten into this like period of distress, because he looked very distressed and he wasn't like looking good. And then there is this footage of him when he was going to the court for the first time, the outburst he did to like the media personnel. That also showed that he was in a bit of like, you know, like that moment where like you've done something and you don't feel okay, not because you regret doing it, but there's just this shift in him. But then when he appeared in court on the 19th of December 2024, he seemed chill, like he was chatting with his attorneys and like the court persons, and his like just the people like close to him. So he seemed really chilled. And yes, what was the motive? So basically, his manifesto had everything in there, and the motive is just that he had this resentment towards the U.S. healthcare system and how the healthcare insurance companies are just prioritizing profit over providing adequate care to like the people registered under them. So it's just, I would say Luigi is just a person that is unsatisfied with the system, and he is angry at the broken system. And that was basically his motive. He killed the CEO because he feels he's responsible for this company, he's responsible for the policies, and he's responsible for whatever is happening within the company. So yes, that is just the motive. And at some point in time, like Luigi became like he had just had enough, and he turned a systemic issue into a personal vendetta, unfortunately. Like I would mention right now, the public perception when it comes to this case is really one that hasn't been seen in a very long time. So apparently the public received what Luigi did as a gift. Like a lot of people are happy. There is a fraction of people that are unsatisfied with what he had done, and obviously there isn't any reason why murder should be condoned in any way. So yeah, no, it isn't acceptable regardless of what a person had done. I know that these insurance companies usually would people feel like they are responsible for like all of the bad things that have happened to them through the process of trying to get some sort of help or treatment from like their healthcare facilities. I do understand that. So basically, like the public are happy with what had happened. They idolize him, they support him, they love him, and they are cheering on what he had done, seeing it as revolutionary act in some sort of way. So as of December 16th, 2024, there was a fundraiser that had raised about $125,000 in support of his legal fees. And there are a lot of messages sent to his commissary, like people are requesting to send him iPads, people are requesting to send him food. Like there are just a group of people that are supportive of Luigi Mangione and what he had done. This brings me to the end of today's story. There is a lot to talk about and there is a lot to mention, but I tried as much as possible to have it short, and I might end up doing a second video on this particular issue. So I would really love to know your thoughts on this one. It's a different case, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and I will see you on my next one. Bye.